You know, there's this sneaky thought that I think trips a lot of us up. Whether you're selling something, pitching an idea, maybe just trying to get a friend on board with the plan.
What's that?
This idea that, the cheapest option always wins. That price is king.
Yeah, that's a big one.
But what if the real power, the thing that actually makes someone say, yes, I need that, isn't the price tag at all? What if it's, well, value?
Exactly. And value, I mean, it's so much more than just the cost, isn't it?
Totally.
It's the benefits, the solution it provides, even the feeling someone gets from it. It's the worth they see in it. And for you listening, understanding that and really amplifying it, that's the key.
So to kind of bring this to life, let's talk about this inventor, Alex. Super bright guy, lots of ideas.
Okay.
But when he first started trying to sell his inventions, let's just say it was a learning curve. He was absolutely convinced low price was his secret weapon.
But it didn't quite pan out.
Not really, no. But his journey, going from fixating on price to really getting the power of value, that's something we can all learn from, I think.
Definitely.
So today we're going to dive deep into these principles Alex figured out. And they're not just for business, right? They apply pretty much anywhere in life.
Absolutely. And that very first principle Alex bumped up against, the one you have to get right, it's about genuinely, truly believing in whatever it is you're offering.
Okay, believing in what you sell. It sounds kind of obvious, but maybe it's deeper than just thinking, yeah, this is okay.
Oh, much deeper. Think about when you recommend a movie you absolutely love to a friend.
Right.
You're not just like reciting the plot points.
Yeah.
There's real enthusiasm there because you genuinely believe they will get something out of it,
Wow.
some value.
That makes sense. You're convinced yourself first.
Precisely. And when you have that deep belief, it radiates.
Yeah.
You're more confident answering tricky questions.
Mm.
Your explanations about why it's good are way more persuasive.
Yeah.
And you're more persistent because you know it's worthwhile.
And the flip side, if you don't really believe in it deep down,
Well, people could tell, can't they?
yeah,
You sound maybe a bit hesitant, unconvinced yourself.
your arguments feel weak.
Exactly. And when someone says no or raises doubts, it's so much easier to just think, maybe they're right, and just give up. If you haven't sold yourself on the value, selling someone else is tough.
So how did this actually play out for Alex? You mentioned he learned the hard way.
Right. So one of his early things was this little robot dog.
Yeah.
It worked. It was fine, maybe a little cute.
Okay.
But his main selling point was just, hey, it's cheap.
Uh-huh.
But because Alex himself wasn't like super excited about it, when people asked, so what's great about it? All he really had was the price.
Which isn't very compelling on its own.
Not really. It was just another gadget. But then something shifted for him. He started thinking about, the actual fun it could bring, the companionship, maybe even helping out a little.
So focusing on the experience, the benefit.
Exactly. Once he truly understood that value, his whole approach changed. And guess what? So did his results.
Makes sense.
And that flows right into the next big idea. You've got to understand what people really want. Because business, really, most interactions, they boil down to figuring out and meeting someone else's needs or desires.
Yeah, like if your friend is bored, you don't just toss them any old board game, right?
Yeah.
You think, okay, what are they in the mood for? Something strategic, something silly. You tailor it.
You tailor it. And for you listening, thinking bigger picture, when you really get people, you can make things they actually need. You can talk about the benefits in a way that clicks with them.
And build real relationships.
Exactly. People feel seen, understood. It's about figuring out the job they're trying to hire your product or idea for. What underlying problem are they trying to solve?
But if you skip that step, if you're just throwing stuff out there based on your own assumptions,
Well, you waste a lot of time and energy on things nobody wants. Your sales pitch or whatever you're trying to communicate, it just falls flat because it's irrelevant to them. No connection.
So Alex's learning curve continued here.
Oh, yeah. He invented this. Self-stirring soup bowl.
Okay.
He thought it was neat, a fun gadget,
Oh.
but, who was desperately asking for a self-stirring soup bowl? It wasn't solving a real burning problem for most people.
Right. It was his idea of fun, not necessarily filling a need.
Exactly. Now, contrast that with something he did later. A super fast smoothie maker.
Okay.
This wasn't random. He saw busy parents struggling to get breakfast sorted quickly, wanting something healthy but fast.
A real pain point.
A real pain point. So he focused on that saving time, getting healthy easily. He hit a nerve, addressed a real need, and that started taking off.
That's a great contrast. It leads nicely into the third idea, doesn't it? Being agreeable and, crucially, building trust.
Yes, absolutely. They really go hand in hand. You need both for pretty much any positive interaction you want to have.
So agreeableness first. It's about making people feel heard, right? Not necessarily that you agree with everything they say, but you acknowledge their point.
Precisely. Even just starting with, okay, I can see why you'd say that, or that's an interesting point, it just lowers defenses immediately.
Yeah, nobody likes feeling instantly contradicted.
Nobody. And then trust. Well, that's just foundational, isn't it?
Uh.
Think about it. Would you rather buy something, anything, from someone friendly and honest, or someone who feels a bit dodgy?
Easy choice. You go with the trustworthy one every time.
And when you start with that bit of agreement, people often open up more. They feel safer sharing what they really need or worry about.
Right.
And if they trust you, they're just more likely to believe what you say, believe your promises. They feel you're on their side.
But if you jump straight to disagreeing or arguing,
Walls go up.
yeah.
People get defensive. Conversation stalls.
Yeah.
And if there's no trust, forget it. They'll hesitate, put it off, or just walk away. Too risky.
How did Alex navigate this? Did he argue about his smoothie maker at first?
He did initially. Someone might say, it looks a bit big for my counter. And his first reaction was to defend its size.
All right, get defensive.
Yeah. But then he learned to pivot. He started saying things like, I understand why you might feel that way. Counter space is precious.
Okay, acknowledging it.
Exactly. Then he'd explain the benefit. Actually, the reason it's this size is so you can make enough for the whole family at once, which saves you time in the morning rush.
Ah, connecting it back to a value-saving time. Much smoother.
Much smoother. And he also started using short demo videos, showing how easy it was to use, how quick it was to clean.
Building trust through transparency. Seeing is believing.
Yep. Letting people see the value for themselves, which actually brings us neatly to the fourth principle, giving more than expected, adding extra value.
Ah, the surprise and delight factor.
Kinda, yeah. It's about exceeding expectations with great service or little unexpected bonuses.
Like when you buy a toy and it comes with extra stickers, or the instructions are surprisingly clear and helpful.
Exactly. Those little things make you feel like you got more than you paid for. It enhances the whole experience.
And the benefit of doing that consistently.
Oh, it's huge for you. You don't just get a sale, you get loyalty.
Right.
People come back.
Right.
And even better, they talk about it. They tell their friends. That word of mouth is gold. Pure gold.
Free advertising, essentially.
The best kind. And interestingly, when you build that reputation for great value and service, you often find you can charge a little more because people trust the experience will be worth it.
But if you skimp on value, if the service is bad.
Well, unhappy customers. They don't come back. And worse, they might leave bad reviews or tell others to stay away.
Yeah, that can really hurt.
Definitely. You end up constantly chasing new customers because you can't keep the ones you have. It's exhausting.
So how did Alex apply this? With the smoothie maker, for instance.
He didn't just sell the machine in a box. He included a really nice recipe book full of ideas.
Oh, cool. Added value right there.
Yep. And a video guide showing tips and tricks. Plus, he made sure his customer support was super responsive and genuinely helpful.
So people felt they were getting a whole solution, not just a blender.
Exactly. They felt taken care of, like they got way more than just an appliance. Which leads to the fifth point, and this one can sound tricky. It's about believing so much, you persist.
Okay, persistence. That often gets a bad rap. Sounds like being pushy, the dreaded hard sell.
Right. And that's the crucial distinction we need to make. This isn't about being annoying or aggressive. It's not that kind of hard sell at all.
So what is it then?
It's persistence born from conviction. It's like when you know, you just know. A friend would adore a certain book. You might mention it a few times, gently, because you truly believe it'll bring them value or joy.
Ah, okay, so the motivation is different. It's about the other person's benefit, not just making the sale.
Exactly. And the upside for you when you have that genuine belief is you can help people move past their initial doubts or hesitations.
Right, because sometimes people just need a bit more information or reassurance.
Precisely. Your confidence, your clear explanation of the value can help them see what they might be missing. It also makes it easier for you to actually ask for the sale or commitment because you believe it's the right thing for them. Your passion can be infectious.
But there's a danger zone here too, right?
Absolutely. You could definitely cross the line into being pushy if you're not careful, and that just turns people off.
Oh.
Big time.
So finding the balance.
Finding the balance. But equally, not being persistent enough can mean you give up too soon. Maybe they just needed one more piece of information or a little more time, and you walked away.
How did Alex handle this? Say, with people who already had a blender.
Good question. He truly believed his smoothie maker saved time and helped families be healthier in a way other blenders didn't. So he wouldn't just back off immediately.
Yeah.
He'd gently, persistently explain the specific differences, the unique benefits for their busy mornings. Not pressuring, but educating, sharing the value he was so convinced of, helping them see why his was different and potentially better for them. And often, that made the difference.
That makes sense. It's about clarifying the unique value proposition.
Exactly. So Alex learned these 5 key principles. The next step was embedding them, right? Making them part of how his whole operation worked.
You mean both inside the company and how they dealt with the outside world?
Precisely. Let's look inside first, the internal environment. What did he change?
Okay, internal first.
Well, first, his team. He knew everyone had to be on board. It wasn't enough for just him to believe.
Right, it needs to be cultural.
Totally. So he shared customer success stories, celebrated wins together, constantly reinforcing why their products mattered and the value they delivered. Get the whole team believing.
Makes sense. What else internally?
Product development. Big shift there. Instead of just inventing what he thought was cool.
Like the soup bowl.
Exactly. He started really listening to customer feedback, building things that solved the problems people actually had. Much more customer-centric. Then, company processes, especially customer service. He made it a massive priority. The goal wasn't just fix the problem. It was make the customer feel heard and valued.
Going that extra mile again.
Always. And fourth, his own mindset. He had to constantly reinforce his own belief, stay positive, maintain confidence in what they were doing, especially when things got tough.
Leading by example.
You got it.
Yeah.
And finally, training. He invested in teaching his team how to really listen to customers, communicate effectively, and build that all-important trust.
So really embedding those principles across the board internally.
Yep. Now let's flip to the external environment. How did they interact with the world differently?
Okay, outside the company walls.
First, customers. The focus shifted completely to understanding their needs deeply and offering helpful solutions. It became more like a partnership, less purely transactional.
Building relationships.
Always. Second, competition. He stopped trying to compete just on price.
Which he knew didn't work well for him anyway.
Right. Instead, he focused laser-like on highlighting the unique value, the specific benefits that made his products different and better for certain people.
Playing to his strengths.
Exactly. Third, marketing and ads. They stopped just listing features or shouting about low prices.
What did they do instead?
They told stories, showed how the products solved real problems, how they made people's lives easier or better, focused on the outcome, the value.
Much more engaging.
Way more. Fourth, partnerships. He became selective, seeking out collaborators, distributors, retailers who actually shared his belief in the products and his focus on customer value.
Aligning values.
Crucial. And finally, even suppliers. He realized that quality was key to value, so he chose suppliers who could deliver high quality, even if they cost a bit more.
Because that quality delivered value to the end customer.
Precisely. It all connected back to delivering that exceptional value.
Wow, okay. So that's Alex's story and how he really integrated these ideas. But the big question for everyone listening is, how do you use this stuff in your own life, your own projects?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because these principles aren't just for selling widgets. They apply everywhere.
Okay, give us some examples, like maybe at school.
Sure. Let's say you're in a group project and you have an idea you think is great. Believing in its value is step one. Then you need to articulate why it's valuable to the project's goals.
Okay.
You also need to really listen to your classmates' ideas, understand their perspective, find common ground that's agreeableness, contribute actively, do your part well that's providing value to the team, and be persistent in a positive way, explaining your idea's merits, but don't just railroad everyone. Build trust by being reliable. It's all there.
That makes sense. What about just with friends? Suggesting something to do.
Same principles. You think a certain game would be fun? Belief. Explain why you think everyone would enjoy it. Value. Listen to what others feel like doing. Understanding people. Maybe suggest a compromise if needed. Agreeableness. Be a good sport when you play. Adding value to the experience. Share why you like the game, but don't force it. Persistence, not pushiness. Build trust by being fair. See? It fits.
Yeah, it really does translate. And for anyone thinking about starting their own thing someday, a business or project,
Oh, absolutely crucial then. Focus first on creating something genuinely valuable. Get obsessed with understanding who you're serving and what they need.
build that trust from day one.
Build trust through honesty and delivering on promises. Go overboard on service. Believe passionately in what you're offering. If you do all that,
Then the price becomes less of an issue.
it becomes much less of the primary focus. When you absolutely nail the value proposition, that unique bundle of benefits that solves their problem better than anything else, people will see the worth, often beyond just the price tag.
So it all comes back to that shift Alex made.
Exactly. His whole transformation shows it. He went from struggling because he was fixated on being cheap to succeeding because he focused relentlessly on delivering real, tangible value.
So the big takeaway for you listening, it really boils down to this. Focus on creating genuine value. Understand people, serve their needs if you do that.
Then the sales, the positive outcomes, whatever you're aiming for in any part of your life, they tend to follow
That
naturally.
it's a fundamental shift in focus.
It really is.
Hmm.
Which leaves you with maybe one final thing to think about.
Go on.
What's one area in your life right now, could be work, a relationship, a personal goal, anything where consciously shifting your focus to providing more value might lead to a better outcome. Just something to mull over. How can you identify and really create that value?
You know, there's this sneaky thought that I think trips a lot of us up. Whether you're selling something, pitching an idea, maybe just trying to get a friend on board with the plan.
What's that?
This idea that, the cheapest option always wins. That price is king.
Yeah, that's a big one.
But what if the real power, the thing that actually makes someone say, yes, I need that, isn't the price tag at all? What if it's, well, value?
Exactly. And value, I mean, it's so much more than just the cost, isn't it?
Totally.
It's the benefits, the solution it provides, even the feeling someone gets from it. It's the worth they see in it. And for you listening, understanding that and really amplifying it, that's the key.
So to kind of bring this to life, let's talk about this inventor, Alex. Super bright guy, lots of ideas.
Okay.
But when he first started trying to sell his inventions, let's just say it was a learning curve. He was absolutely convinced low price was his secret weapon.
But it didn't quite pan out.
Not really, no. But his journey, going from fixating on price to really getting the power of value, that's something we can all learn from, I think.
Definitely.
So today we're going to dive deep into these principles Alex figured out. And they're not just for business, right? They apply pretty much anywhere in life.
Absolutely. And that very first principle Alex bumped up against, the one you have to get right, it's about genuinely, truly believing in whatever it is you're